Let's get into it.
Hey, guys, the only thing I love more than sports is a 3-day weekend, but I love them. I love sports so much, I never want them to stop, but now that we're in the middle of summer, we get fewer games, and the sports just aren't sporting like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. And that's right, there's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So all you guys have to do is head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and start making the most of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
And Darren sent us a winning ticket, but we can't figure out how to get in the system. But Darren, we see you, we appreciate you, and thank you for sending those tickets. And if you have a winning ticket, make sure you guys send it in as well. Deshaun Watson and the rookies reported to training camp yesterday for the Browns. Today, it's the veterans who report to Berea to officially kick off the 2024 campaign. Later this week, they head to the Greenbrier in West Virginia for the second straight year for 9 days and 7 practices. And we got a couple storylines that we're going to monitor throughout the next couple of weeks as training camp unfolds. But before we do that, I want to ask Tyvis, do you have any great first day of training camp stories from your playing time, whether it's reporting day or whenever the training camp really gets underway? Do you got anything you can share to give us a little insight on exactly what's happening today for the veterans who are reporting?
Today is the day that everybody probably flew back into town yesterday. Today, you report to the building. You know, you gotta give up your keys. They got buses for if you're staying at the hotel, because everybody is mandatory to stay in the hotel for the rest of the time. Some people keep their keys and they drive back and forth. But yeah, you kind of we call it going to jail. That's what it kind of is. You're on lockdown. It's over with. You're going to spend probably 12 to 13 hours at the facility every single day. And yeah, that's how you report to training camp.
Physicals, drug tests.
All of that. You got to do physicals when you get there. The drug test comes they have them scheduled. Obviously, it's in the first 2 weeks, so everybody's scheduled differently. But in those 2 weeks, you'll be getting drug tested. That's just a whole bunch of medical stuff today.
The new weight room in Berea is open. Deshaun posted it on his Instagram. Looks immaculate, and I know that was something the Browns got dinged for on the NFLPA report cards last season. They clearly took that to heart and upgraded it. And Tyvis, real quick, as a player, if you were coming in and you've been working out in an older weight room, and you walk into the facilities and see this one, what's the first thing running through your mind?
It's about time. I mean, listen, I had an opportunity to work out at the old facility, when I was there for my cup of tea, and it was small, it was compact. It was it felt like he was in a garage or something like that. It just wasn't big. And when I seen Deshaun post yesterday of the new one, I was like, now that's what I'm talking about. Like, you could get more energy in there. It looks better. I'm more eager to work out. I want to do these things. So it's nice that they finally got that right. And I'm expecting to see guys really have a good performance from that wonderful facility that they have now.
Jason, you're headed to the Greenbrier later this week to join the Browns for a few days of training camp. What's one storyline you're most looking forward to kind of following throughout the next couple of days here?
The offense. Just what's the offense look like? I fully expect Ken Dorsey to be the play caller. I think Kevin will announce that probably at some point here. And just how much different does it look compared to what we saw last year? I tend to think it's going to look drastically different. I think it's going to be what Deshaun wants. Deshaun in the gun, Deshaun freelancing, Deshaun just balling. And I'm curious to see just how different it looks and if I'm right.
Some other things we will follow. The Amari Cooper contract situation.
Yeah.
Will he hold out? Will he hold in? We'll find out the answer to that by whatever is there a deadline to check into training camp, Tyvis? I'm sure they have something set where you have to check in by.
Yeah,
right?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Probably 4 p.m. I don't know.
So we'll see if Amari Cooper shows up. He wants a new contract. We'll see which players land on the PUP list. There's 2 different versions of that, the active and the reserve PUP list. If you start on the active list, which Nick Chubb's expected to, you can be activated at any point during training camp, then participate in team drills. If you're on the reserve list, you can't play in the first 4 games of the season. So we'll find out where Chubb lands, where Conklin lands, where Jed Wills land. If those guys aren't active, we'll see the new offense. We'll see some of the rookies. But I want to ask you guys this, as someone who has only lived in Cleveland for a couple of years now. You guys been here longer, have followed the team much longer than I have. When veterans report to training camp, it is the unofficial, official kickoff of the season. Does the start of this training camp in the 2024 season Is this the most anticipated season of the Browns' modern era, 99 on? Do you get that sense?
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't know if it. Well, hold on. First of all, Jason and I are dead inside, so you gotta take that too.
You with me? You're a corpse like me?
Yeah, I'm dead inside, so I don't really get hyped up for anything. But I think that the year that they got Odell was the big one. That was the one
that felt bigger.
It did, because it was like, okay, because you think like it's like he was like the missing piece. It was like you had the Thanos glove on, like he was the last piece that you needed this puzzle. Bakery coming off of a great year, Jarvis doing his thing. Now you got an explosive receiver like Odell. Oh, this team is going like they're going to the championship. That's where you were at. When you look at this team, it's so many key guys coming off of injury that it's like, all right, at some point I know that that's going to play a part into it. But once they get going again, once their bodies get acclimated to it again, then I can see some stuff and be excited about it. But right now, it's so you got a new play caller coming in, you got guys coming off of injury, Nick Chubb, you got contract cut situations. So it's like right now it's hard for me to say that this is going to be just the greatest season, because if all four of these things don't align up soon, it's going to jeopardize the things that's going on in this season. So that to me is why I'm not anticipated or excited about it so far.
Totally agree on the Odell. That was by far, I think, the most highly anticipated season, to the point that they were lining up to get into the Muni lot the night before. And I don't mean like 2 or 3 people. I mean miles from all, if you add them all up at all the entrances of people just waiting to get in and cooking out. I drove down. I was getting ready to go to bed, and I saw on Twitter that all these lunatics were out there. I'm like, well, can't go to bed now. I got to drive out there and talk to them. So I drove out to the Muni lot at like midnight, 1 a.m, and people are grilling out and throwing football. Like it was something I've never seen before. And you had Baker, you still had Bleefin. So that to me was the most anticipated, and really I would even say last year. Because you get through the muck and the mess of the first year with Deshaun, with the suspension and everything hanging over it. And then you come into last year thinking, okay, like, got our guy now. Let's see what he's got. And and now it's almost like, all right.
A little trepidation.
Do we have our guy? What's he got? So I don't think this would probably rank in the top 3, actually, if I sat down and thought about it in terms of like, I mean, sure, there's high expectations for the season, of course, but just the cheery-eyed optimism of some of the past seasons, I don't know. Like when you look at the schedule and you look at the quarterbacks that they have to face, and like the division, and there's a lot of reason to certainly be optimistic, but also be like, boy, I don't know how this is going to go.
It's weird because I don't disagree with what you said about the quarterback and the schedule and some of the things that you have to bank on going right for the Browns to reach the pinnacle of what they hope they can get to. But at the same time, they won 11 games last year with the carousel at quarterback, and they led the league in turnovers. You have a carousel at quarterback, you shouldn't win 11 games. You lead the league in turnovers, you shouldn't win 11 games. You do both of those in the same season, and you should be taking the top 5, not making the playoffs. And for that, and maybe it's blind optimism isn't the right word because we know this team's good, they overcame a lot of legitimate body blows to get to the point they got to last season. And, yeah, you hope Deshaun and you expect Deshaun to play better than he did last year, assuming the shoulder holds up. Turnover luck is real in football, and I would hope with some better quarterback play they go from leading the league in turnovers to even middle of the pack. That defense should be good again. They have the components to compete at the highest of high levels. And I don't know what the OBJ season like preseason was because that was pre my time in Cleveland. I get a sense just from talking to Browns fans and being around the community as much as I am. Like, people are all in on this team this year.
Well, they always are. They were all in on 0-16.
Well, but it feels like
this is the year.
It feels like in a different capacity. Like,
Deshaun Kaiser's the answer. Like, Browns fans can talk themselves at anything.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No,
but
like,
I think that when you you need to cut this out. You really are dead.
Yes.
There's no way after the 0-16 season they were like,
yes,
this
they
team
were.
has a chance.
Yes, they were. Are you crazy?
They went undefeated in the preseason.
Yeah, they did.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, they did.
Did see what happened with
They
the Summer League
went
Championship
undefeated in the
last year.
preseason, and then they didn't win a game all year long. But after that undefeated preseason, I could pull clips people, this is our year.
Yeah, they did.
Here they come.
I mean,
Every year was our year back then.
but I understand why fans are excited about this and why they would feel that way. I mean, for the first time, the Browns are the aggressors. Like, they don't get pushed around. They do the pushing around. And last year was the perfect example of that, of how they came in there. The team that went to the championship, they knocked 2 of their starters out the game. Like, get out of the game. They scuffled before the game. The Browns was front and center, ready to go. Like, they had that dog mentality that you've been wanting for so long. So that's why a lot of people are behind this Browns team. They look, that defense is good. Yes, they didn't do well in the playoffs, but if they can figure out what they did wrong, which I'm sure they spent a lot of time watching that tape, breaking that down and understanding how was Houston so successful against us? Because we have to change those things. Because guess what Dallas is going to do? Do those same things week 1 and see what Houston did. They're going to find out if they fixed it or not. So everybody's excited about this season because they believe in Jim Schwartz and the new attitude that this Browns team have. And when you go get a Jerry Jeudy to go alongside of Mark Cooper, then it seems like all the problems are fixed.
Jason just dropped his phone in the middle.
David Njoku, it comes out here and he continues to pick out right off where he left. I don't know what Nick Chubb's status is going to be. But I told y'all, Jerome Ford last year, if you go watch his best 5 plays, 4 of the 5 came out of shotgun. If they're going to take this offense and make it out of shotgun, they've already shown that they can make explosive plays in the running game out of the gun. So it's a lot of things to be excited for.